What's up, YouTube, man? It's the homie Big D, man, back in the building, man. Hey, appreciate everybody who supported me on that last video, man. I did a post. I supposed to have did something yesterday, but I had my little girl, you know what I mean? And I had her, she might have actually just left. And my little girl, man, that's my princess, so she take priority over my life, man. Not that y'all don't mean the world to me, but you know how that is. I got the bond with my babies. Now she gone back with her mom, I'm back at it. So because I didn't get an opportunity to do anything yesterday, I'm gonna give y'all a 2-for-1. 2-for-1 on December, man. Skin them out the box. Tell you what skin them out the box means. Skin them out the box meaning that if you would call a person out on their BS. Skin them out the box. If a person trying to hide who they was back in the day or something like that, you just call it, skin them out the box. Hey, man, call them out. And anybody who familiar with Georgia Skin, that's where it comes from. So Georgia Skin is basically a game where you take a card and you bet on that card. You bet that every card that everybody else got at the table, that your card gonna basically fall after their card. You see what I'm saying? You bet that their card gonna fall before your card. So we used to call it skinning out the box, because when somebody pull you out the box, boom, could pull your card out, they skinned out the box. You know what I mean? So it's 2-for-1. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna tell you about one time that my partner, little man, and he gave me okay to say his prison name. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? That's my partner, that's my brother. So I had just talked to him. He said, man, I don't care, man. You, but that ain't in prison name. You know what I mean? Nobody really knows that name. So I said, okay, little man, skint a dude out the box. And on the second one, I'm gonna tell you about Mustard Cody. If you catch this video, this is specifically, basically for you. You know what I mean? For supporting the channel. And this is when my partner KC called me out on my bullshit when I was trying to skin somebody out the box. You know what I mean? Yeah, he checked me. How you gonna check me, KC? But that's my brother, man. So, I'm gonna respect his call on that one. You know what I'm saying? I always gonna respect when somebody tell me what's right when I'm finna do something wrong. So let's start on this first one. The first one, man, we're gonna actually jump to Leburg State Prison. At this point in time, I had been down there probably about 6-7 months, something like that, when a dude came into the room with me. So when he came in the room, he was a big husky dude, probably about 6'2", 6'3". You know what I mean? And when I seen him, it like, I know this dude from somewhere, but I couldn't really just place where I knew him from. You know what I mean? And I was like, I know him from somewhere. So we pull up in the room and he come through the door talking. He's about like, if you go back and check out that Big Bad Wolf, he's basically on the same level as far as like, he's just one of those people that do a lot of, self-bragging. You know what I mean? Bigging himself up. Like, I'm that guy. You know what I mean? I used to be good in basketball, I just don't play no more. You know what I mean? I was faster than everybody. I'm a good fighter. I'm a better fighter than most people would know. I've been knocking people out, blase, that. But when he came in the dorm, he was just basically calling himself whatever name he had gave himself at another prison. I can't even remember. If I did, I would call it. But I asked goddamn my boy about it, and he was like, I can't remember what that dude calling himself, man. But yeah, so we in the room one day, right? And I kept saying, like, man, well, I know the dude. So I started asking, like, where all you been? Because the prison that he said he had been to, none of them got aligned with the prison I done been to, and which was only one at the time, was ALTO in Leesburg. And then that was currently at Leesburg, so it wasn't Leesburg when I met you at. And so it had to be ALTO. But he like, I said, man, you been to ALTO? And he was like, yeah, I went down that long, though. And he quickly skated past it, you know what I mean? And that's when he first came in there. But we in the room one day, he just talking, chopping it up, yada, blase, this and that and third. And my partner, little man, he keeps this one. Every time he says something. And here's the thing. Little man was in the room because we was in the room, well, I ain't gonna say he was in the room just because of that. He was in the room, we was in the room kicking in my room because you get like the Atlanta Constitution paper, and nobody down there used to get it. So we were going there, all the dudes from Atlanta used to put up in my room. We just look at newspaper, checking out the news, what's going on in the city. Because like I told you, Leesburg only had 3 channels. So anyway, the only thing they talked about was what was going on in Albany and Tallahassee, and places around there that we had no idea what was going on with them places. So, but yeah, man. So dudes in there, we reading the paper, he keep talking. And little man, come on, man. And he was talking about, yeah, man, I had this little woo down there in another camp and stuff like that. Yeah, man, them dudes hated on me. That's how I got down here. And man, looking at the paper, man, shut the paper like him. So come on, man. He like, what's up? So man, you act like you don't know who you know, like we don't know who you is, man. You don't remember me? That's what man was saying, little man was saying. He said, nah, man. He said, man, we was down the ALTO together, man. And he's like, we might have been, man, but like I told him, man, man, you lying, man. Your name Issy Booty. It wasn't Issy. It's Issy with an S. I'm not going to say that because I don't know how YouTube does that, but they call the man Issy Booty with an S. I said, what? Wait a minute. That's what the dudes in the room like, whoa, wait, whoa. Why would they call him that? He said, when he said that, I said, oh, you are him. And when the dude was saying that, they would want to know why they was calling him. Well, I'm going to tell you why they was calling him that. Was the fact that not because he was a receiving issy, a receiving boy, but he used to like them boys. And that's all he would ever talk about was boys. He absolutely was in love with boys. I ain't talking about like turnouts, like, you know what I mean? Because I'm going to have to do a video on that. But we had like FBs, you know what I mean, that was basically just regular dudes that you wouldn't know to lights turn out. Then you had the all-out guys that was, you know what I mean, with the tight pants and they letting you know this is what they into. And he was into that. And that's what he had going on. Now, here's the thing. When man said that, he just like, he was a dark-skinned fella. If dark skin can get light-skinned and pale, that's what it looked like. It's like he. Sometimes, man, even though in the last video I said that if you allow your past L to keep beating you over and over and over and over again, then you know what I mean, you're going out bad. You know what I mean? The only way you're going to be able to do it is focus on the day, prepare for tomorrow, and keep pushing through. Well, on this one, in certain situation, when you've been doing something, especially if you've been doing something that you know that was wrong, and you try to run from it, sometimes you need to go and address it. Go and put it out there in front of you. And then just say, hey, man, I was that then, but I'm not like that now. You know what I mean? And so, you know, that's something that you got to do. You know what I mean? Hey, back when I was younger, you know what I mean? I was in the streets. With all the BS that came along with the streets. And me doing this platform and helping me address it. So that's how I'm addressing it. I'm moving forward. I never deny that I used to be the bad guy. Moving forward. But the last time I ever seen Issy Booty was actually he was in E1. And I was in E2. This is the last time I seen him. And man, them boys in E1, them Decatur boys, I don't know what he did. He told me that it said something to do with somebody said he stole something, but that's not what I heard. When I asked him, I said, man, what you do, man? And he was like, man, they said I stole something. I was like, I don't know. That ain't what they told me. And I'm jumping around, but yeah, they beat, and when I say they beat dude unmercifully, they beat him unmercifully. And ain't nobody go to the hole. And I seen him when they was beating him. It was the perfect storm. The officer in our dorm was upstairs in the mop closet. The officer in their dorm was upstairs in the mop closet. The female who was working the booth felt like dude was in there trying to masturbate on her, so she went and locked herself in the and walked in the bathroom, and them boys commenced to beat him unmercifully. Ain't nobody went in the hole but him. Man, when I say they was beating him, he was laying on the floor, and dudes would jump. And it was a little dude from Decatur was jumping off the table with both his feet in his chest like this. and you seen them like, you ever seen like Menace to Society when the buddy was getting stomped and his head was just doing like this, man. This is what was going on, man. And it was kicking him, beating him, and man, they beat home unmercifully. And by the time the police came out there and seen him, well, the girl actually seen him first. He just laying out there in the middle of the floor. And it was guys standing around talking about, call the code. And for all she know, he passed out. They called the code. They didn't even they took their time because it wasn't like, oh, because they were just looking like, because he's messed up, but he's bleeding, but they don't know what's going on with dude. Man, they come down there and get him and take him and put him out there on the rec yard and laid him out there on the rec yard. So the rec yard, the small yard, rather, had like a basketball court, more concrete than it is grass. They laid him on the ground, out there. I'm talking, they carried him by his feet and just drug him out there and laid him on the ground. And I seen him try to get up. Then I seen him go back down, boom. And they said, oh, yeah, it's over with, buddy. We thought it was over with for him, honestly. You know what I mean? I was surprised to see him. Because I never checked on to see did he make it or not. You know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't nobody I was cool with or anybody that I cared anything about. So I like, when just to see him at that point in time, I said, man, last time I seen him, man, them folks mauled you. That would beat you unmercifully. But to his credit, we did have a conversation. He told me, like, yo, he said, I try to hide that part of my life, man. He said, but you gotta understand, man, when I came to prison, I got locked up, I was 15. And after I left Millersville, I can't even say it. I ain't even tripped. When he left Millersville juvenile facility, he came to ALTO, and the only way he ever known how to do time is how he thought that time's supposed to be done. And until he went to other places, and then he started realizing prison wasn't ran like that he had to do his time that way, that he was making a mistake, that he had been manipulated into believing that being that way was okay. Which is okay. I get where you're coming from, but I don't feel what you're saying. You know what I mean? I feel like everybody has their own mind set that they can control how they think. But with that said, I'm only looking through it with my lenses because it's easy to be manipulated and believe that this is the way that prison goes. If you don't want to be seen as insignificant, then you get in with what everybody else do. Some people in society need to have that goddamn people patting them on the back and saying, hey, you know, you one of us. You know what I'm saying? And then you have those that stand against the grain, go against it. It's a grind uphill, but it's always worth it, man, because you know your voice will mean more when you know that you got to try to move in the mindset of righteousness. Moving forward now, this is when I got checked. Trying to call somebody else out. I'm at Frank Scott with this one, man. Frank Scott State Prison. And at this point in time, I had probably been out of Frank Scott probably about 4 or 5 months. I actually went to Ingram Building. You know what I mean? Ingram Building had 3 halls, A, B, and C. And my homie had convinced me, because I was on C Hall, homie had convinced me to move out of Ingram and go to Highland. Highland is on the other side of the prison. You know what I mean? Because it's like a downhill. They got the Ingram Building, they got the Highland Building, RSAP, and then something else going on. But anyway, I'm gonna do a lay of the land situation with Frank Scott. They don't have anything to do with this right now. So convinced me to move up to the Honor Dome and see how. He like, man, the folk don't mess with you. You know what I mean? Yada yada, woo woo. It's peaceful. And plus, I was in Ingram Building, and part of their dorm used to be in the TV room. And where I slept at was on the top bunk in the TV room. And I hated it, man. I hated it with a passion, bro. I promise you I hated that thing with a passion, man. Because sports on, basketball, football, whatever on, man, and that they consider that the sports TV right there in the opening, right there, because it was like 2 They had a movie TV that was in a little room, and then they had the sports TV. All that screaming and yelling. I like to sit down and just read books and listen to my radio. And you wasn't no peace in them, bro. So I was like, man, let me get moved up there. So they moved me up the to Highland Building to Seahawk. When I get up there, there's the dude from the west side of Harlem. Man, him was kicking it. He like, hey, man. Cause he knew about my homeboy, my partner who had got me moved up there with him. Said, hey, he knew that he was from, cause both of them from the west side of Atlanta. He knew he had been an ALTO and stuff like that. So he like, yeah, you been out in tow? Like, yeah. He like, yeah, man, you know that dude they call ALTO over there in D-Hall? I said, nah, I didn't know they had somebody down here they call ALTO. Who run around here calling us ALTOs? Man, big ALTO, man. So they got them boys scared over there. Scared of what? He like, man, shoot, man. They said, man, that said he want to take something. They take booty and he, you know what I mean? Got the dude scared to get in the shower with him and everything. I said, for real? I said, yeah. Yeah, man. Man, I don't play no games, man. I said, big ALTO. So I had never heard of this guy, man. As I asked around about him, you know what I mean? At that point in time, I basically knew everybody who had been down there from ALTO. You know what I mean? And I basically kicked it with all of them. So evidently, this dude who done came down from ALTO, he was a bully. And I don't like bullies. You know what I mean? But yeah, and the way he going down here, he flexing his muscle. No, shouldn't be none of my business. And I guess it really wasn't. And I said, I just wanted to see who they was talking about, because he had to show enough be a third grade. Be down here got done bullying these folk. Because Frank Scott, although was a medium member security camp, it was kind of turned up, honestly. You know what I mean? It wasn't ALTO by far. But it wasn't no soft camp, meaning that you can get your issue though. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, you can. You know, by the closer you're going to get the close security. If you ask me, when at Frank Scott, you know what I'm saying? Because it'll go down. It would go down. And it was a little piped up. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know what I mean? It was robbing them. I'm gonna tell y'all the story, man. They do everything that you think of. Outside of that, I had never known nobody to be on no goddamn stuff like that. And all of Frank Scott, let me say to him, is open dormitory. The whole entire prison. There's no cell houses, period. You can get your 2 man room with no door. But anyway, I go out to the rec yard. And once I get out there to the rec yard, I see my partner, KC. I see KC at the pull-up bar and stuff. And the pull-up bar that was down there, we had like a little pit where we worked out at. He was at the pull-up bar, and then he had the gazebo. It was a gazebo that sit right there. Then the basketball court that sit off to your left if you coming through the gate. I see him down there hitting the balls and stuff like that. So I push up on him like, KC, where we going? You know what I mean? Now, his name wasn't KC. I'm not going to call his real name. You know what I mean? Master Code, you know who KC is. And I push up on him because he was from Kansas City. You know what I mean? I push up on him like, wow, what's going on? And we dap up. And we talking, chopping up, stuff like that. He said, yeah, boy, seen you been on the 8th radar out here. I said, yeah, man. And I'm looking around. I said, hey, man, what the hell this dude they calling Big ALTO down here, man? And he pointed at him like that. And it was, I like to call it a bad name, but it was a boy. There used to be a boy down in the toe. He was a turnout, an ALTO. But now he's up here kicking it like he was just putting in work. Dude was saying that he was down there. He said he was down there in toe, beating dudes up, busting dudes in the head. He was choking cats out, taking booty. He was doing all that right there. He just gassing folks up. And I'm like, what? I said, oh, hell no, man. I said, man, I'm not going to let that man get away with that, man. KC stopped and looked at me. And when I was walking out, he did like, hold up. He said, man, why would you do that? I said, man, because he was a boy. He said, what that got to do with you? I said, man, what you talking about, man? He said, listen to me. He said, how you going to skin this man out the box and call him out on his shit? You ain't call none of the other dudes out on there. He said, just because he was a boy, a lot of these dudes, I don't see you talk to them. You ain't never, not one time, ever brought up the fact that these dudes out there messing with boys, with bandits or anything. But you talk to them. But you going to go out there and check him. I said, so what you saying, KC? He said, what I'm saying, man, being real. You know what I mean? You my dog. I love you. Man, but shut the fuck up, man. If you ain't going to call him, you going to call him out. You need to call everybody out, man. You can't pick and choose when you do that shit. That's hypocrisy, man. I didn't even know the nigga knew what hypocrisy meant. Pissed me off past positivity. I said, man, you on one today, man. I walked off. You know what I'm saying? Went out there, got me a down, played basketball, blowing off some steam. As I played when I lost a game or two, lost a game, and I'm sitting on the sideline, he pushed back up on me, said, you still mad? I said, man, you know I don't hold nothing against you. You know what I mean? Because you can talk to me like that. He said, but is you thinking about what I said? I said, yeah, you right. He said, but I wasn't mad at what you said. I'm mad at myself because you absolutely right. I'm finna do some bullshit, knowing that was some bullshit. You know what I mean? And, you know, I don't like cursing on him, but I had to say it how I said it. You know what I mean? You can't call out somebody behind their BS, then have the expectation that to be all right if you don't call everybody out. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't agree with what he got going on or how he got to the point that he at, then you going to say something about that, but everybody else just as much in the wrong as he was. And I ain't said nothing about none of those people. And I talk to them guys on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying? That's hypocrisy. Don't speak down on one act and turn a blind eye on another one and then say that it's right to do. Don't try to call a person out on for being one way and then your friend, you don't call them out on the same thing. You see what I'm saying? And what he said made sense, man. KC checked me on that, man. We dapped it up. I gave him a hug, and you know what I mean. You know what I mean. That's my dude. You know what I mean. I rocked with him. You know what I mean. Before he passed, he no longer with him, man. I kind of miss that brother, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. I miss that brother. You know what I mean? Because you know the maturation and the change that I seen over the years with him was something else. But at that point, when he told me that, that's when I realized I need to kick it in gear myself and stop goddamn just saying and start standing on the same thing I'm preaching. I appreciate that, Casey. Appreciate that, homie. Hey, man, but now it's that time, man. I'm gonna go ahead and give these shouts out, man, to every individual, man, who got chimed in on the last video, man. I appreciate y'all, man. You just do not know how much I appreciate you, man. Let's go, man. LaQuise Dawson. Hey, man, I appreciate your support. Hey, I was dead wrong on the last video. I said Nashville. Memphis, stand up, man. Memphis, stand up, man. 11 currency, man. NC in the building, baby. Upon the game, man. Hey, man, I appreciate it, man. Brother Lee, I appreciate Stone Mountain, goddamn, Georgia born, Stone Mountain raised, man. That's what's happening, man. BR4 TV, man. That's why. He always chiming in, man. That's my brother, man. He always chiming in. Shout out, man. Hey, does Sean goddamn Salter? Hey, man, I appreciate the love. Vinci too cool. Stop. You got the goddamn comment of the day. Let's highlight on this comment. You know what I mean? This brother said, you know, he want me to be able to tell more about, you know, true stories about myself, like my bad and everything. Hey, I'm not gonna never sit there and tell anybody that I wasn't goddamn, you know what I mean, no peace loving brother. You know what I mean? Nah, no sir. I did not go to prison, goddamn singing church hymns and baking goddamn cakes. No, I did not go to prison with that. I was a bad person. I did some bad things, and I did some things when I was in prison to survive. But as far as how I am and who I am, you know what I mean? That's how I am. That's me. You know what I mean? What you see now is me. I always been the same way. From the first day I went to prison to the last day I got out of prison to the day before I went into prison. I always been the same person. I had to grow over time and learn more and more about who I needed to be, a better person. But I got stories in here, man. You go back and check out the worst of me, man. And then I'm telling you, like, I'm not innocent by far, but who I am is who I am. If you think I'm lying, go back and check out that Leesburg. Yo, I got the polo shirt on. You know what I mean? The same thing, you know what I mean? Something changed, something else in the comments. You know what I mean? It was a guy that I was in Leesburg with, and he actually in Frank Scott with. And he met me down there in Leesburg. I've been the same person. He'll tell you in his comment, man, that's Lil Hill. I'm not telling these guys to go on here and put this stuff in him. I've been the same exact dude from the beginning, bro. Anybody that ever did time with me would tell you the same thing, man. I've been on the same thing, man. I've been fair. I've been goddamn clear about it. You know what I mean? I've been real. I've been straight up. I ain't never been on no sucker stuff, man. I ain't never cried nobody who didn't deserve to get crossed. You know what I mean? I didn't step on nobody's toes. I didn't never try to bully or push nobody. I ain't do none of that BS that had to go on within prison, man. I never did none of that. I do some wrong? Yeah. You know what I mean? I got a story I want to tell y'all about when I cried my partner out. You know what I mean? And because I thought he crossed me. And when I found out that he didn't, it hurt me to my heart. And I promised that I would never do that again. You know what I mean? But moving on, I had to just give you that. Hey, man, Master Cody, man, please check the video out, homie. You know what I mean? Backbone, hey, man, appreciate you, homie. I talked Backbone the other day, too, man. Yesterday, too, man. Tulsa in the building, man. Stone, man. What's happening with you, man? G-Money, G-C Code, G-Code, man. What's happening, homie? I appreciate it, man. Native Pride, man. I appreciate you, man. Elites, I appreciate you, bro. You know what I mean? Slade Dro Guns, man. I appreciate you. Willie May Moore, I appreciate you, but I appreciate you, baby. Arnold Walker, man, I appreciate you. Orlando McCloud, man, I appreciate you. Kobe Joy, man, I appreciate you. Hey, man, Brother Lee, I appreciate you, homie. You know what I mean? I appreciate each and everybody who got done on check my videos. I appreciate everybody who don't like. I appreciate all the new subscribers. I thank y'all so much, man. I keep saying I appreciate y'all, man. I honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I do, bro. I appreciate y'all, man, because, you know, y'all my motivation to make me do these videos. This is therapeutic for me, and y'all keep on goddamn chiming in, man. Let me know, man, that I'm doing what I was meant to do. You know what I mean? And I'm hoping like that I reach it. This message reach some young fella, man, young guy. And if you are older and you still teetering that life, man, I hope it reach you too, man. To stay out of prison, man. Stay out the way, man. Stay out of trouble, man. Become a positive influence in your neighborhood, in your community, instead of a negative. You know what I mean? These messages, I went through it for y'all don't happen to, man. I promise you, man. One love, man. Till next time, man. It's the homie, Big D. The homie, Big D. Name of the channel, same as the handle. What's happening? Holla at y'all, man. One love.